Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bird Notice. Billy here. Leading off, Jordan Westberg is named the Orioles' Roberto Clemente Award winner. And a year ago, Mike Elias was named President of Baseball Operations. But Ryan, what episode number is this?
This is episode number 94, which has not been worn by any past or present Oriole. Instead, I'll give a quick rundown on the 1994 Orioles. Under manager Johnny Oates, the team went 63-49 and finished second in the AL East, 6.5 games behind the Yankees, and 2.5 games back of Cleveland for the AL wildcard. Of course, this was the strike-shortened season, so the standings didn't matter in the end. Hall of Famer Mike Messina led the team with 5.4 WAR over their 112 games, going 16-5 with a 3.06 ERA and 1.64 ERA plus. He would finish fourth in Cy Young voting, and closer Lee Smith would finish fifth, racking up 33 saves and a 1.53 ERA plus. Position players Cal Ripken Jr. and Rafael Palmeiro tied with 4.0 WAR to lead the Orioles, with Ripken, Messina, and Smith making the All-Star team. Those three plus Palmeiro all received MVP votes, with Ripken winning a Silver Slugger, and the only other player to get award consideration was Jeffrey Hammonds, who tied for sixth in American League Rookie of the Year voting. 1994 remains the best season by winning percentage in the history of the Nationals and Montreal Expos, and this reminds me of the Netflix documentary coming out next month called Who Killed the Montreal Expos, which I'm looking forward to watching.
I actually reactivated my Netflix subscription Saturday night I'll get to that in Media Corner. So yeah, I'll be able to watch that now. And then there's a Clemente documentary out currently.
Oh, really? What's that on?
I don't know. It's on my AMC app but it's not there's no showings at my theaters. So I want to find it.
Oh, it's in the theater.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Probably be streaming somewhere soon.
What's that? Wait, is there an AMC TV channel, or am I completely screwing that up? I know there's AMC theaters. What's the TV channel called?
It's AMC.
Okay.
I guess it's American Movie Classics.
Are they unrelated though?
Yes, they're unrelated.
Okay.
Yeah, AMC. I just found out what the AMC theater stands for like last week, and I was like, "Oh, that makes sense."
American Movie Cinema.
Yeah, something like that.
Is that redundant? Movie Cinema?
Is that what it stands for?
I don't know. I was just saying that.
Didn't their stocks? Didn't they do like a GameStop?
There was
thing
something going on with that. Yeah, I don't follow that stuff at all, but I remember hearing about that too.
American Multi-Cinema.
Multi-Cinema. Okay. I was one word off. I knew mine didn't make sense, but close enough.
Breaking Bad was on the AMC TV channel.
Yes, you're right. That's a show that it was out for a couple of years, and one of my friends who I lived with at the time was badgering me to watch it. He's like, I know you like the show. You got to watch it. And then I finally did, and I was like, oh yeah, this is really good. And I watched it enough to catch up to the final season, which I watched weekly as they came out.
I pretty much did the same thing. I might have caught up like a season or two before the final season. But I remember binging like 4 seasons in a row, and like at one point during one of the binge sessions, I got up and I was like, everything sucks. And I was like, wait a minute, like what's going on here, Billy? And then I went and I sat down again and I pressed play and the song started. I was like, oh, I'm watching too much Breaking Bad. I need to take a break.
It was a really good show.
I'm looking at the 94 Orioles roster. Can you name how many Smiths were on there?
I don't think I can. I'm only thinking of Lee off the top of my head because
Lee Smith. Then there's Mark Smith, who played 3 games.
Okay. He sounds kind of familiar with the Red Wings.
He has a Pirates helmet on in his Baseball Reference avatar. Yeah, he was on that 97 team that won like 80 games and blew everybody's mind. Then there's a father-son duo of Smiths on the 94 Orioles.
Father-son? Oh, Dwight. Is Dwight one of them?
Yeah, Dwight Smith. And then his father, Lonnie Smith.
Wait, are they related, or are you just saying that?
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
I don't know when to believe you.
Yeah, Lonnie Smith was 38. Dwight Smith was 30.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. No 1990 or no 94 jersey number, so I figured I'd look at that. Decent team. But this 94 was actually the first year that the wild card was going to be implemented. But because of the strike, 95 was actually in practice the first time it happened.
That's a fun rotation with Musina, Ben McDonald, Jamie Moyer, Sid Fernandez.
Right. Yeah, Mark Smith did play for Rochester a couple years.
He sounds like a guy whose name would be someone who would play for Rochester.
Arthur Rhodes made 10 starts. That's interesting. He wasn't a starter, really. Maybe they were they doing like openers back then? No, I guess he did start. So his first few years in the majors, he only started until 95. He made 9 starts and appeared in 10 other games. 96, he made 2 starts and appeared in 26 other games. And that was it. Then he was just a reliever.
Mike Oquist carved out a 7-year career.
Ooh, Armando Benitez. That must have been his first year.
Yeah, he was fun to watch pitch, even though he was like high stress.
He had 10 innings, 1 earned run. Good small sample there.
Was he a steroids guy?
I don't know. I don't think he was always very big. He's actually, it's funny, he's listed on Baseball Reference as 6'4", 180. He never looked 180 to me. He looks minimum 220 from all the, the vision in my mind, at least, of Armando Benitez.
Yeah, 94. Poor went out for the 94 Orioles. The one thing I remember about the 94 season was the crazy years like Tony Gwynn was having. He was hitting like 394, and Griffey had like 50 home runs.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bummer. I mainly just feel bad for the Expos. I mean, there's of course no guarantee they would have won anything, but the best year they've ever had. Just
Dan Duquette was their GM.
Oh, there you go. I looked it up the other day. Pedro, it was his first year, I think, as a full-time starter. Yeah. He had 24 games, 23 starts, whereas before in LA, he was a reliever.
I'm listening to that Why We Love Baseball, Joe Posnanski audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like the Baseball 100, but instead of counting down players, they're counting down moments. And that Pedro start against the Yankees where he struck out 17 and gave up, I think, 1 hit, and it was a home run against the Yankees in 99. That's gotten a couple mentions in that.
I don't even know if I remember that. I bet Red Sox fans do, but
yeah. So do you have any thoughts on Mike Elias's secret promotion?
Not really. I did see something about them talking to guys to be a GM, which I kind of like that idea, but I also, if Elias is the one hiring them, I don't know how much that'll change anything.
Yeah, I didn't have like much of a reaction to this either. I did have some questions, and one of them was what you just offered out there. I didn't even though it seemed like Elias was working towards being fired, I didn't think he'd be replaced this offseason. Like I thought he'd get at least next season. Now he's he's going to be in charge like in perpetuity now that he's the president of baseball operations.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, but it probably does mean a little bit more job security.
It seems like a good backdoor way into getting a GM, though. Like, if they weren't going to fire him, like, we had wanted a baseball guy in charge of him, but if that can't happen, this is probably the next best thing. And really, nobody knew it was even happening. But, yeah, is he going to hire another inexperienced guy he can control, or is he going to hire someone he can trust and, put down the day-to-day mundane baseball decisions like who's the emergency catcher today and what waiver claim relief pitcher can we bring in?
Yeah, and I was texting you earlier. I'm like 3/4 of the way through that book about the Astros. Winning fixes everything, and just from reading that and knowing that Elias was part of the Astros and then the Cardinals with Jeff Luhnow before that, I would highly doubt he'll bring in like a baseball guy, like a guy who's like former player, been in the game forever. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if those former player baseball guys kind of don't like him.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
I might make that my next book. I got like an hour and a half left in that, Why We Love Baseball. And just from that 2 paragraphs she sent me, I was like, this should probably be my next book.
It's good. I like it.
I'm not sure he earned a promotion, though. So he's kind of lucky he got it before the season instead of in limbo after this season.
Right. Yeah, he's probably thinking the same thing. If he won't admit it, I'm sure. But yeah, he has done nothing this year that makes you think he should be elevated.
The fact that ownership gave him one after last season, it's kind of irritating that, to me, that says that they weren't really concerned with because that wasn't a slump in the second half of last year. That was a collapse. And it just shows that, I don't know, maybe ownership is too trusting or naive or
right.
should have been concerned.
Winning 0 playoff games doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I'm starting to kind of get the vibe that David Rubenstein is like too nice or something.
Yeah. I kind of have the same vibe. Like he seems like he is well aware that he's not a baseball guy. So now he's like over trusting the baseball guys who were on the path to like, being the class of front office in baseball. And then that second half last year, just, you're starting to see some cracks, and then the dam broke this year. Now, who knows what to think going into next year.
Right. It does make you wonder how much he talks with the minority owners like Cal Ripken, or this might sound silly, but even Grant Hill, just being a pro athlete and a smart guy, like I'm sure he would have some input too, but I have no idea if that ever happens.
A Duke graduate.
Yeah.
Then I also question, was the plan that Elias would eventually hire a GM, or did the results of this season kind of make him realize like, oh, I should have a GM. This is more responsibilities than I thought, being GM and president. Or is it like a compromise between him and ownership? Like, hey, things didn't go the way we thought. You have a lot on your plate. We should bring in someone to help you out. Like, how did they get to this? We need a GM thought.
One thing that's interesting to me reading this book about the Astros is that while Elias was in Houston, he was basically solely involved with the amateur scouting. He didn't do major league anything based on what I've read. So take that for what it's worth, but it sounds like maybe he could benefit from having somebody who's done more in the professional area of not just scouting, but also front office duties.
Yeah, and that blurb you sent me too referenced Sig Mejdal being a prospect hoarder, and that's definitely came to fruition.
That's why I sent it to you, because I was like, oh yeah, this explains the Orioles, I think.
Yeah, they didn't move. They only moved off 2, Ortiz and Hall, and they had great excuses to do both. Ortiz was buried, and Hall was crazy ineffective and inconsistent and injury prone, and he was coming off a nice stretch that you could present to other teams like, hey, this guy can help you. And he had the first round pedigree, but then they kept every other prospect.
Well, they have traded a few others like Stowers and Norby and Hernandez, but overall, like the Garrett Crochet deal, for example, like after losing Burns, they should have jumped on that. I honestly don't remember the order if Crochet got traded before Burns left or vice versa, but those are the types of things they should be doing when they have a window open, not being like, oh, we should hang on to this dude because he might be a fourth outfielder in 3 years. Like, screw that.
To Stowers and Norby, though, they also hung on to them until like the 30th hour. Like they were both like 12 months pregnant by the time they finally traded them.
That's a good point. They weren't like young prospects. It was like you're either in the majors or you're in AAA at that point.
Yeah, they took them as far as they could take them and finally traded them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll never understand how good Trevor Rogers has been this year. I hope he can keep it up.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I have a feeling that over the offseason, other teams are going to watch a lot of film on him. And of course, nobody's going to maintain a 1.4 ERA, but I wouldn't surprise me if it was like 3.4, which is like good, but not special.
Yeah, I would even take that. And if it was like 3.4 next year, like sign me up.
Well, they desperately need even that. Yeah.
Yeah. The floor on him too is like a 5 and missing starts and
yeah, his floor is basically as low as it can go as far as the floor.
Like, is there anybody with a wider range of outcomes pitching right now?
Orioles wise, I don't know. I mean, Kramer does have really up and down stretches.
Yeah. No news on
but
him.
I feel like as a whole, like throughout the season, you can kind of count on Kramer and know what he's going to give you on average. Whereas Rogers, yeah, I don't think people still know.
No. Would you give him the most valuable Oriole this year?
It's tough because he's basically played half a season.
Right. He even said himself he wouldn't vote for himself for Cy Young due to that fact.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's some good self-awareness. That's tough. I mean, maybe Gunnar. Nobody really deserves a most valuable Oriole this year.
Like Holiday could get a vote, especially if it's like ranked voting.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him though. I mean, if Laureano stayed around all year, it'd probably be him.
Yeah, Gunnar's like a boring vote too, though, at this point, because he did underwhelm, and he's won it the last 2 years. But
he's
there's
also
no
like
else.
Their only consistently good player.
Right, like Kowser's underwhelmed and been injured.
Yep.
Tyler O'Neill
never plays.
Can't
O'Hearn and Laureano were both good and got traded. So I mean, yeah, if you look at straight up WAR, it's Rogers. But if you're talking, if you value playing a whole season, I'd say Gunnar.
I think I'd vote for Rogers. It's just so shocking. And he's ended like losing streaks. Like there was a couple of times where it was like, oh, here we go. Here's a 5-game losing streak, and then Rogers comes out and
he's a stopper.
Yeah, basically has no hit stuff. He's an opening day starter, right, next year?
Well, I mean, haven't you said you think they'll trade him? Not like seriously, but wouldn't surprise you.
It honestly wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
Yeah. Especially now that he's been as good as he has been. If he was just mediocre, I'm sure they'd keep him and be like, oh, he can eat some innings. But knowing how they operate, where they view him as, a guy who is wildly overachieving to his career norms, they like to cash in on that stuff.
But that's a frustrating thing. Like this team, especially after last season, you would think should be trying to win games now. But they do seem to have that mindset still, as we've, beaten into the ground at this point. It's like they're always just trying to trade guys for prospects and trade. It's like they're always trying to be good tomorrow, but never actually today, and it's just so ridiculous.
That's my entire complaint about Elias this season is he hasn't adapted. He still operates like they're in rebuild might be too strong of a word, but they still operate like it's 5 years ago, and they're still in like young talent acquisitions. Like, no, you need to be in major league talent acquisition now.
I agree.
I'm going to bring this up again one more time. It's probably my last chance to do it because the response to that pitcher list article from last offseason was so dismissed out of hand simply because it was mean towards the new ownership, which was still in the honeymoon phase, and fans didn't want to be mean to them yet. But the big thing in that article to me was that it was Elias was operating with unchecked power. And that's was been proven true with this report that he's the president now. Because obviously he was operating like that because he had authority to.
Yeah, and as we said, Rubenstein not being a baseball guy and knowing that, which is a good thing, I would say, but he might also be a little too hands-off in a way, and that allows Elias to literally do whatever he wants.
Yeah. So that was one of my main takeaways from that report. And for the people who still aren't convinced that the Orioles are currently in a rebuild, something rebuilding teams typically do is hire a new GM and a new manager, which is something I'm told the Orioles will be doing this offseason.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah. Do you have any I don't really know baseball executives anymore. Especially, I saw Josh Barfield was mentioned as a candidate. I think he's with the White Sox. I know he's Jesse's son. He used to play for Cleveland.
I remember his name. Couldn't tell you anything about him.
I think he turned the Orioles down. That might be how the story broke.
I think you're right. I think that's where I saw that. Yeah, that they were thinking of getting a GM, but. What does it say about you when the White Sox are saying no? Like when that guy who works for the Whites, didn't you say it was the White Sox?
Yeah, let me look just to make sure. He's young too. That's another thing. People might not want to come in and have their first job. Like Elias has this reputation. You might not want to be his puppet.
Right.
He is...
Yeah, it is him.
He's with the White Sox?
It says he was in talks with the Orioles, but turned it down. So that makes it sound like it wasn't just like an interview. Like they got to a certain point and had a few discussions, and eventually he said no, which might not be a good look for the Orioles.
That makes it sound like there was an offer, actually.
Right. He was born in Venezuela. That's interesting. I would imagine it's because his... dad was playing down there or something.
Yeah, I mentioned on here a few times that we used to get Yankees games on TV in Pennsylvania in the late 80s, early 90s, and that's where I saw a good amount of Jesse Barfield. That guy had a cannon for an arm. He had like a Laureano arm.
Yeah, that's my favorite play in baseball. Sweet throw from the outfield.
Jesse Barfield. He's one of those players that I thought was better than what they were just because of like the TV coverage I was consuming at the time.
Right. Like, remember Raul Mondesi had a cannon tattooed on his arm? Like, I always thought that guy was awesome. And then you look at his numbers, like, he wasn't really that great.
He won a Rookie of the Year.
Right. Yeah, he was one of those 3 Dodgers in a row. Who was it? Like,
I think it was
Mondesi, 4. Hollingsworth,
Piazza,
and what, Nomo, maybe?
Oh, yeah, it probably was him. I was thinking it was an infielder. But I think you're right. Nomo, Hollingsworth, Piazza, Mondesi.
Let's see. I'm going to look it up.
And didn't they do that twice?
Oh, Eric Karros, Piazza, Mondesi, Nomo.
Okay.
Ben Hollingsworth. Wait, 1, 2, 3. They won 5 in a row.
They should have been a dynasty.
92 Karros, 93 Piazza, 94 Mondesi, 95 Nomo, 96 Hollingsworth. That's crazy. Yeah, and the Dodgers kind of stunk until the last, 5-10 years.
They had that disastrous owner. I'm blanking on his name. The parking lot guy.
McCourt.
Yes, Frank McCourt. Yeah, and his wife Jamie McCourt. Yeah, they almost wrecked that franchise. Do you still have the Rookie of the Year page pulled up?
No, but I'll get it right now.
Check and see in like late 70s, 80s. Do they have another run of like 4 Rookie of the Years in a row? Steve Sachs.
79 Rick Sutcliffe, 80 Steve Howe, 81 Valenzuela, 82 Steve Sachs.
Yeah,
4
that's
and
nuts.
then 5. That is crazy.
Way to go, Dodgers.
Yeah, I guess good for you.
For all the hype of the Orioles farm system last few years, to only get the 1 Rookie of the Year in Gunnar is a little bit of a disappointment.
I mean, that goes to show you, though, how much your farm system and prospects like actually don't mean as much as fans like to think.
Right.
In my opinion.
No, that was always driving me nuts when I would see fans speculating on Orioles call-ups and tying it into like it was a foregone conclusion that they would win them the draft pick compensation. I was like, it's hard to win Rookie of the Year. You can't just
right. Especially because you call up some like hot 21-year-old prospect when there's like a 25-year-old dude who's just got that much more experience and comes out of nowhere.
I was hoping Sugano would win it this year, but that's not happening.
Definitely not.
All right. You ready to do some recaps this week?
Let's do it.
The Pirates came to town. That's always fun. This was Tuesday. Monday was an off day. We had Mike Burrows, who was a 25-year-old 11th rounder from the 2018 draft out of Waterford High School in Connecticut. He was making his 18th career start against Kyle Bradish.
Yeah, and Bradish didn't start the game himself that well because he allowed a double and a walk before Andrew McCutchen singled in the first inning to score Spencer Horwitz, and it was quickly 1-0 Pirates.
Yeah, that walk was on 4 pitches to Brian Reynolds. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get traded this offseason. I give the Pirates credit for giving out a couple contracts, even though they didn't work, to like Reynolds, Hayes.
I remember when they gave out that Reynolds contract, both of us were like, he doesn't seem that good.
No, he's Pirates good. Like, that's like, Cleveland 10.
Right. That's the joke, huh?
Yeah. McCutchen drove in the run. He's a .333 career hitter in 30 games against the Orioles. 39 for 117 with an .893 OPS.
Is this his final season, you think?
I hope not. I don't think he should be a charity case, but if they need him to fill the role again next year and he's up to it, why not? Like, he's like a living statue for them, basically.
Yeah, I don't think I realized that he won an MVP in 2013.
Yeah, he was really good. I saw him play for Indianapolis against the Ties. He hit a just a total bomb at Harbor Park.
Huh. He's not even that big either.
But yeah, Pittsburgh's lead doesn't last very long when Mountcastle hits a sac fly to O'Neill Cruz in deep center field that would score Jackson Holliday, who had led off the game. What do you do? Did he walk?
Single.
Yeah, he has like a 900 OPS this month or something. He's doing really well. But yeah, O'Neill Cruz's body language on this fly out indicated he thought this was the third out, and he started jogging in. And there was no play anyway. Kaiser scored easily, but
he has a cannon of an arm. Like, unless it's to the wall, there's always a chance O'Neill Cruz could get you.
I mean, Holiday scored easily, but yeah, Cruz is hitting like 200. He's really had a sad year.
Yeah, he started out pretty well, and he has not hit well lately.
Yeah, then the game would stay tied until the 6th.
Yeah, bottom 6, first pitch of the inning off Braxton Ashcraft Jeremiah Jackson hit a solo home run, and it was 2-1 Orioles.
That was Jackson's 10th multi-hit game in 33 games. Every third game, he gets multiple hits.
He's been very good.
Braxton Ashcraft sounds like a name you made up when the cop asked you your name, and you're just
right
putting together consonants.
Very, very like Gen Z name. It seems like you should play lacrosse or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of Braxtons nowadays. Yeah, and it's 2025, so apparently there's still people who haven't figured out that Yennier Cano is incapable of closing out games. So it was no surprise when Tommy Pham delivered a game-tying home run to send us to extra innings.
Yep, the game remained tied until the 11th. Dennis Santana and Isaac Matson for the Pirates held it down, while Dietrich Enns did the same for the Orioles. Bottom 11, with a runner on first and third, Basayo singled, scored Gunnar Henderson, and that was a walk-off win.
Yeah, it's the second career game-winning walk-off RBI for Basayo. This was a questionable play, though, where Pham was sliding towards foul territory and the ball landed on the chalk. I thought he was being smart and like kind of hitting it with his glove into foul territory, but that isn't what happened.
It was very anticlimactic because they did have to review it, and it was not like a hard hit ball. It wasn't a fun walk-off. I guess like as far as walk-offs goes, pretty low on the fun scale.
Yeah, it definitely had the like the fun taken out of the celebration as they just stood around waiting. But then the Pirates just started leaving the field too, which also made it anticlimactic.
Both teams were probably trying to leave, like, fuck this, let's just go home.
Our season ended in May.
Right.
Yeah, Orioles win 3-2. The first start was Basayo for the walk-off. This was the Orioles' third walk-off in their last 3 victories. And since the All-Star break, the Orioles have played 23 one-run games, which is the most in the majors.
It was funny that it was a thing for a while that they hadn't had a walk-off, and then they just ripped off like a season's worth in 2 weeks.
You know why? Because they brought up some young injection in Beavers and Basayo, who they were letting sit in the minors for an extra 3 weeks.
They have played parts in several of those, that's for sure.
Yeah, Beavers keeps reaching base too, like Jeremiah Jackson.
Yeah, 2 walks in this game.
Beavers, there's got to be a spot for him next year, right?
You would think. I mean, certainly when O'Neill gets hurt, he'll get in there. So,
good point. Yeah. Bradish, second star, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 81 pitches, 56 strikes, 23 of 27 first pitch strikes. There's no other realistic scenario where this comeback for him it could go any better. He's Trevor Rogers like.
Yeah. No, I think it'll take till like probably halfway through next year for me to just not be nervous watching him pitch, expecting him to get hurt again. But he's been awesome.
The third star I gave to Hall of Famer Dave Parker. The Pirates were wearing a patch on their sleeves that just simply said Cobra. That's pretty badass. Is there a cooler nickname than the Cobra?
Where did that come from?
That's a good question.
Let's look it up.
He was one of the coolest people on that planet. I love that picture of him where he's wearing that shirt that says, if you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys bopping. You ever see that?
I like to picture him wearing that like hockey mask or whatever he had.
Was he on that? I think he was gone by then. The Reds World Series team in 1990. I think he was on
Oakland around that time.
Yeah.
He was actually in Milwaukee in 1990, but yeah.
Jeremiah Jackson had to be removed in the 8th inning after being hit in the hand by Braxton Ashcraft. I went to straight to broken hand when I saw that, but he was fine.
Yeah, that's all just to say it doesn't matter if he broke his hand. Like, obviously it's not good, and I'm not rooting for it, but they're not playing for anything.
He's another guy in that Trevor Rogers camp where you're just waiting for the clock to strike midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So like a broken hand, be like, oh well, it was fun. Next year he'll go back to hitting 180.
Right.
Then Masson showed a stat on Kobe Mayo. He's batting .096 with 2 strikes. The MLB average is 170.
He's curse statting hard this year.
He picked it up by the end of the week. I think I saw like a headline where they messed with his swing a little bit. So he homered the last 2 days. He's got to do something these last 2 weeks, or this year is just a waste, a wasted
Right.
opportunity.
Yep. That's the thing. We were just talking about prospects. Everybody loved Kobe Mayo. They don't all work out.
Hope you're happy, Sig. Kobe Mayo
could have traded his ass for Garrett Crochet.
Yeah, you definitely won't get anything for him now that you would have gotten last year for him.
Right.
Wednesday, Paul Skeens versus Tyler Wells. Wells was hanging with Skeens until the 4th inning when Timonium, Maryland native Spencer Horwitz cracked his 8th home run of the season, made it 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this really was a pitcher's duel and not something I expected out of Tyler Wells. There was no more scoring until the bottom of the 8th when the O's got Cowser and Carlson on to start the inning. With 2 outs, Jackson Holliday singled to score Cowser, and that tied the game at 1.
Yeah, they removed Skeens after only 5 innings and 64 pitches.
That seemed weird to me. Do you think it was like, screw it, our season's almost over? Or was it like, a 3rd time through the order thing, which, like, I don't think it matters for that guy.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's late in the year. We'll just try and limit his innings a little bit.
Yeah.
So we go in the 9th and 10th. Rico Garcia and Albert Suarez hold it together, setting up Dylan Beavers for his first career walk-off off Kyle Nicholas after a leadoff walk by Cowser on 4 pitches. Then Daniel Johnson executed a perfectly placed bunt, and this was the 7th victory in a row over Pittsburgh.
Kyle Nicholas, 2 first names, never works out well.
Is Kyle Nicholas related to Thomas Ian Nicholas, who played Henry Rowan-Gardner in Rookie of the Year?
I was just thinking about Henry Rowan-Gardner when you talked about Jeremiah Jackson breaking his hand and going back to normal. It's like the opposite of Henry Rowan-Gardner.
That is what I'm waiting for with Rogers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was fun. Just a quick one. I gave Beavers the first star, 2 for 3, 1 walk, the game-winning RBI. And then Tyler Wells, the second star. Some fans might not want him in the rotation, me included, but he's pitching like he wants to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is, to me, the Bradish starts are cool, but I can see him doing that. I didn't expect this out of Wells.
No, 6 2/3, 89 pitches, 6 Ks, 1 walk. Honestly, my mind's blown.
Another small sample, but we'll take it.
It's almost worrisome because now I could see Elias looking at it like, oh, Tyler Wells has earned a spot in next year's rotation. We don't need to go out and get a pitcher now.
Right.
And then, he'll crap out around Memorial Day.
Right.
And then the third star, the bullpen, 3 1/3 scoreless. The bullpen was on a run until this Blue Jays series this week. And then I got a Paul Skeens note. He joined Oliver Perez in 2004 as the only Pirates in history to reach 200 strikeouts in 180 innings. Oliver Perez had a nice long career, but there was a time where it looked like he might develop into an ace. Do you ever see his 2004 season?
No, I mean, I remember him, but I don't remember his numbers.
Yeah, this was a 1-year thing. In 2004, at the age of 22, he had a 5.7 WAR, a 2.98 ERA, in 196 innings pitched over 30 starts. And he ended 2004 with 239 strikeouts. He actually pitched 7 games for the Diamondbacks in 2022 at the age of 40.
I remember him bouncing around as a reliever, and he was effective. He was good for a while.
Yeah, I think they got him in a trade.
Yeah,
I don't know, but It looked like he was going to be an ace on a rebuilding Pirates team, and neither things happened.
Right.
Typical Pirates fashion.
Well, speaking of them, I wonder what they're going to do with Skeens. Do you think they're going to re-sign and try to extend him, or will they just trade him like they do everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, if they can trade, I almost said Chris Benson, Garrett Cole, I could see them trading Paul Skeens. I know Skeens is more of like a national phenomenon than Garrett Cole was, but kind of the same thing. A number one pick who can get you a lot in a trade, but if you're a Pirates fan, how can you watch that? You're almost better off letting him walk out the door for nothing at the end of his contract than trading him.
Maybe the O's can trade for him.
This is what pisses me off because I am 99.9% certain that if the Orioles had the top pick, what year was he drafted? 22?
I'll look it up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but if the Orioles had the top pick that year, they would have taken Dylan Cruz, a left-handed college hitting outfielder.
Right. It was 23.
Yeah. I have no doubt in my mind they would have taken Dylan Cruz.
Does fit the Orioles profile pretty well.
Man. Yeah, what do you think they'll do? They should throw $500 million at him.
Yeah, but they're not gonna. That's something I would say about the O's and Gunnar. I think they should, but it won't happen. So yeah, I bet you they end up trading him
to the Dodgers or the Yankees.
Right. It'll be one of those teams that actually cares and wants to spend money to win.
Yeah, baseball's broken.
Yeah.
Actually, everything's broken.
True.
Thursday, September 11th, day game. Yohan Aviado versus Cade Povich. I had never heard of Aviado before. He looked really well. I watched half this game and then listened to the second half on the radio.
I think I've heard of him, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, Triolo started the game off with a single. Pham would move him over on a ground out. This set up Nick Gonzalez with a 2-out single to left with a runner in scoring position, scoring Triolo. Beaver's throw was cut off by Rivera. It was a pretty bad throw. He cowsered it. But yeah. Gonzalez was caught napping off first base, so they were able to get out of the inning.
And then the Pirates pulled an Orioles by getting that lead erased immediately. With 1 out, Jeremiah Jackson singled, Gunnar doubled, Rivera grounded out, but that scored Jackson, and it was tied at 1 after 1.
Then Kaiser would start the second inning with a leadoff walk, and 2 outs later, he steals second base, so we have a runner in scoring position for Kobe Mayo. He came through with a 2-out RBI base hit.
Look at that.
They grow up so fast. Actually, so slow in his case.
Right. The O's had a 2-1 lead going into the third, but that lead disappeared after the first batter, Alexander Canario, went deep off Povich, and it was tied at 2.
Yeah, it was the 17th home run of the season allowed by Povich. And there was a missed opportunity in the 6th with Aviado still in. He got 2 outs, but he allowed 2 base runners in the process, so he's relieved by Colin Holderman. Holderman walks Alex Jackson to load the bases for Kobe Mayo again. And this time he just flew out to shortstop. So nothing to show for loading the bases there.
Yeah, one for 2 and runners in scoring position at least.
I was getting greedy though.
True. Bottom 7, Holiday leads off with a single and steals second. Gunnar is intentionally walked, so there are runners in first and second. Rivera strikes out, so with 2 outs, Beavers comes up. He singles to score Holiday and give the Orioles a 3-2 lead.
And Keegan Aiken would work the 9th for his career-high 5th save.
Closer by default.
I know, it actually scares me every time he gets a save, because then I could see Elias being like, hey, we don't need to add any bullpen pieces. We got Keegan Aiken.
Right.
Getting some saves.
I don't know how much his contract is. Probably not much.
Yeah, in the end, that's what really matters.
So that reminds me of another thing I sent you, but I guess I'll bring it up here. Is in that book, when Elias was running that scouting department, he was trying to give employees club options like they're baseball players. Like, that is bizarre. And it's just something he still does, obviously. I don't know if he does it to personnel, but players for sure. And I guess he was always very concerned with keeping costs down as much as he could. And a lot of Astros employees didn't realize that they were so underpaid until they left, because a lot of them were not from within baseball. They were hired from like consulting or finance or just dorks. And then they got other jobs, were like, oh, I'm making way less than other people do in my position with other teams.
Right, and with options. Yeah, that just goes to show you what I mentioned earlier, that he really has a hard time adjusting his philosophies to where the organization currently is. Like, if the Astros were on top of the world then, and he's giving out options to people who are helping you win World Series.
I wonder if that's even legal for like a normal employee too. Like,
Yeah, it sounds odd.
I don't know if you can work for a year and then the company's like, oh yeah, we'll have you come back. Like, I feel like that's got to be mutual.
The front office is like 250 interns just working for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun to see what Elias does this off season, but
fun.
Yeah, fun's the wrong word.
Possibly
what if he hired Jeffrey Luhnow?
Nauseating. It wouldn't surprise me. Does he even work anywhere anymore? I don't know.
I think he runs like a soccer team over in Europe or something. I saw, or he's maybe just a consultant there.
That gives me terrible flashbacks to when the Sabres hired Ralph Kruger, who was literally running a fucking soccer team, and they made him their head coach, and he sucked. Who saw that coming?
What year was that?
Probably 2015, 16, 17. I don't know. It all blends together. But yeah, he had coached hockey before and was literally running like, I don't know, Sunderland or some random English team. And then they brought him in to coach their hockey team again. And guess what? They were terrible.
What if the Orioles do that with their managerial position? They bring in like... I'm trying to think of someone.
Bill Belichick?
Yeah. Steve. What's Bill Belichick's kid's name? What if he hires...
Steve, the one with that mullet?
Yeah, what if Steve's the new Orioles manager next year?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Get him 1 year and an option.
They'll just hire some dude from McKinsey who knows nothing about baseball but is good with numbers.
The actual McKinsey baseball manager. Is that where Elias went to school?
Well, McKinsey's a company. He went to Yale.
Oh,
but
okay.
McKinsey's like a fancy management consulting firm that only hires people from the top colleges and pays them a lot and works them into the ground. And they're just a bunch of dorks for the most part who work too much, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing. I thought that was a school.
I don't know.
McKinsey University.
Could be.
3 stars. The bullpen, 4 relievers went 3 1/3. Grant Wolfram got the win. He's 3-0. Cade Stroud, he's been quietly incredible. His ERA is down to 1.27. He hasn't allowed a run in 5 September appearances at this point.
Pride of Mike Elias.
Cade Povich, he always does just enough to warrant further consideration, like in the rotation and stuff. The injuries obviously make it easy for him to keep getting starts, but yeah, with this one, he was 1 out away from a quality start, 2 earned runs over 5 2/3, 6 strikeouts, only 2 walks, which is always a problem with him.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just the Pirates or if the Orioles pitching is actually decent, but they swept this series and they only scored 8 runs. So
yeah,
the pitching did its job.
Effect. And Dylan Beavers, this guy's a pest. He just seems to make things happen. Oh, he batted 5th in this game. I thought was interesting. It shows the team's noticing his, on base skills.
Yeah, his on base percentage after this series was 443.
Yeah, which is crazy. Jeremiah Jackson, who's getting multiple hits every other game, is at 333. Cowser is at 277. Holiday at 321. Gunners at 345. And Beavers is just smoking them all. 443. That's impressive even in a small sample size.
Right. Cowser 277 on base percentage. That's terrible.
Yeah.
He does not hit for enough power to get on base that seldom.
Poor Cowser. And then this took us to Toronto on Friday. I only watched condensed games this series. I had non-Orioles things to do this weekend for the first time in a while.
Yeah, as decent as they looked against the Pirates, it was the opposite against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, this team has some wild swings where they'll win 3 in a row, then lose 6 in a row, or even with all these, they were like 8-1 at one point here. They still weren't scoring any runs.
That's true. That continued.
But, yeah, it's kind of like don't look too closely at what's going on with this nice
Don't
streak.
worry, I'm
on.
not.
But yeah, it all came falling apart this series. I picked a good series to miss. Trevor Rogers versus Chris Bassett. The Orioles will get on board first when Jackson Holiday would drive in Basaya, who led off the inning with a double. So it's 1-0. And then this would be the only run scored by the Orioles because they only managed 3 hits.
Yeah, Rogers worked out of a bases loaded jam in the 3rd. Then the Blue Jays finally got on the board in the 5th. Davis Schneider walked. Guerrero singled and advanced on an error. Oh, this was the ball where Cowser just straight up missed the ground ball, right? In the outfield.
Yeah, I did see that.
And it went behind him to the wall, allowed Schneider to score from first, and that tied it at 1.
Yeah, then Enns and Dubin allowed 5 runs in relief. The bullpen had a 1.14 ERA in the previous 9 games, and that just collapsed here. Straw, Clement, Varsho, Vladdy all drove in runs. 1 run was scored on the error by Cowser. He did make a nice diving catch, though. I did see that.
Yeah, he made up for his error, sort of. I mean, he allowed a run directly off that error, so I don't know if it fully makes up for it, but it was a nice grab.
I guess on the plus side, it didn't affect one of the relievers' ERA when he did that.
Right. Well, it was Rogers. It was... So Rogers did give up 1 run, but it was not earned. So his ERA went down to 1.43 after this.
And then sadly, he was removed with toe discomfort after the 5th inning. He walked 3 batters in the 3rd inning, which is odd for him.
Yeah, 4 walks for him is a lot this year.
And then Braden Fisher, he would get the win. He improves to 5-0. He has a 2.76 ERA across 42 1/3 and 45 appearances for Toronto. So I was curious where the hell he came from. They got him from the Dodgers for Kevin Biggio on June 12th, 2024. That's a pretty good trade.
Yeah, is Biggio even in the majors anymore?
I think last I saw he was going up and down on the Royals.
Okay.
But yeah, Fisher's 25 years old, and the Blue Jays improved to 64-4 when scoring 5 or more runs.
Yeah, Biggio hasn't been in the majors since May, so he's basically a AAA guy now. Unless he's injured. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
He's someone I thought was going to be good, even though I'm sure that was just because of his last name.
Right.
They gave him a chance, too. It just didn't work.
Speaking of last names, Bichette had a good year, but didn't he get hurt recently? But he had been kind of resurging because last year he was kind of awful.
Yeah, he's a free agent after the season. Someone's going to pay him.
And Vlad Jr. went 3 for 3 and was up to a 305 average and an 895 OPS, and he's very good.
Wow. That's something the Orioles are severely missing is a impact bat in the middle of the order.
Yeah, between Rutschman and Henderson, and neither of them has really taken that next step this year. And none of their younger guys are doing that either. Jeremiah Jackson, maybe? Dylan Beavers?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, their best hitters right now are Jeremiah Jackson and Dylan Beavers. Two guys who shouldn't even be on the roster if things had gone the way they were supposed to.
Right.
So this took us to Saturday. We got Max Scherzer versus Suganu. Suganu gets all these fun pitching matchups where like he's going up against legend. Like he went against Kershaw last week.
Right.
Yes, he gets Scherzer this week. Before this game, Daniel Johnson was optioned back to Norfolk. Tyler O'Neill's back. Papa Champagne.
Got to come back and play in his home country at least. Good for him.
What if that was his only goal for coming back? I gotta play in Canada.
Right. I just want to play in Toronto.
My dad will be there.
Right. He should beat up Mike Elias. Actually, he won't because he gave him too much money. Never mind.
Yeah, they're best friends.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the Orioles jumped out to a 2-0 lead when the first two batters of the game, which was Holiday and Beavers, would each reach with a single and a walk. Gunnar hit an RBI double. Then Scherzer retires the next three. But Tyler O'Neill's ground out would score Beavers. And Orioles get an early lead.
Yeah, for once it wasn't Sugano giving up the early runs, and he was actually very good. He went toe-to-toe with Scherzer until the bottom of the fifth. Leadoff batter Addison Barger hit a 2-2 pitch for a solo home run, and that made it 2-1 Orioles.
Yeah, 402 feet, and that was Barger's 20th of the season, which would lead the Orioles.
He's been pretty good. I don't know if he's a rookie or what, but I didn't know about him until this year.
Yeah, he's someone that caught my eye earlier in the year, too. And yeah, Blue Jays they're doing something right. I used to shit on John Schneider, and I'm the fool in this beef.
Well, we'll see. Maybe they'll pull an Orioles in the playoffs and score like one run.
Are three teams from the AL East going to make the playoffs? The Red Sox, Yankees, and Blue Jays?
Good question. I don't look at the standings nowadays.
I don't either.
Currently, let's see. Baseball Reference has a weird standings page. It's hard to tell. Let's try MLB.
So then that would leave Detroit and
Seattle's leading the West now.
Wow.
Yeah, right now, if the season ended today, Blue Jays would win the division, then Yankees, Red Sox, Astros would be the three wildcard teams.
Yeah, good for them. Blue Jays were getting ripped on at the end of last season, and they put it back together.
I prefer when they stink, but...
Yeah, I do too, but I'm glad... Like, if the Orioles were going to suck this year and those other three teams were going to be good, I'd rather miss the playoffs, I think, knowing back in May than being the fourth team who missed the playoffs by like a game.
Fair.
In this wretched division that we're stuck in just because of geography.
Right.
Yeah, then former Orioles Sir Anthony Dominguez entered the game with 1 on and 2 out. And Gunnar would steal second. O'Neill would reach. And Bassiah would add an insurance run, make it 3-1.
Bottom 8, Cade Stroud on the mound with 2 outs and runners on first and third. He was relieved by Keegan Aiken, and Keegan Aiken promptly gave up a single to Alejandro Kirk on his second pitch, and that made it 3-2 Orioles.
Yeah, Stroud and Aiken combined to allow 3 hits and a walk. But then Kobe Mayo would hit his monthly obligated moonshot 403 feet off Braden Fisher. And this should be enough for the Orioles bullpen to nail it down in the 9th. Keegan Aiken's your closer. What could go wrong?
Yeah, Keegan Aiken started the bottom of the 9th, getting Davis Schneider to fly out, so 1 out. Dalton Varsho then bunted and reached base, so Yanier Cano came on, and then things unraveled.
So Keegan Aiken made a throwing error to first base on that, and Enns made basically the same error the week before. The Orioles relievers need to work on their infield drills.
Or the coaches need to make them work on their infield drill.
Yeah. But, yeah, Loperfido and Jimenez would hit back-to-back RBI singles to tie the game off of new reliever Yenier Cano, who you love to see in the ninth inning. He's always nails. Nails on a chalkboard. That's the episode title.
There you
go. George Springer is awarded first base when his swing would catch Basayo's glove. So bases are loaded for Alejandro Kirk, and we got a walk-off. Sacrifice fly to Kaiser in center. 3 runs and 4 hits. 2 errors in the inning. Cano's 5th blown save of the season. Blue Jays league-leading 45th comeback win.
Yeah, the bullpen combined to pitch 3 innings and allow 4 runs. That's not good. Spoiled Sagano's good start.
And you mentioned Sagano going toe-to-toe with Scherzer. He injured his toe in this game. A line drive hit his foot again.
You're right. Yeah, was this a second start in a row where he got hit? It was like the left foot, then the right foot? Or
yeah, it was
feet?
opposite. Yeah, different feet.
Got to stop giving up those hits up the middle.
Yeah, those slow pitches coming in. That some of those guys just tee off on them.
Right.
Braden Fisher with his second win in as many days. Kirk was 0 for his last 19 before his RBI pinch hit in the 8th. And yeah, that ball that hit Sugano was 113 miles per hour. And Manzolino took out Sugano after only 63 pitches with a bullpen game scheduled for Sunday.
63 pitches over 6 innings, too.
Yeah, he was cruising. Manzolino's excuse was they didn't want Sugano to face the lineup for a third time.
Nobody from the front office was like, who cares at this point?
Yeah, just let him squeeze every dollar out of his arm at this point.
He's probably not coming back next year. I mean, he's decent enough to go to another team. He'll probably be like, I'm not going to Baltimore again. Get me out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. He'd be a good 5th starter on someone. Like a 6th starter even. But, yeah, I have a feeling he's going to go back to Japan.
His ERA's down to 4.39. That's decent.
Yeah, when you look at his numbers, if you don't look at how he got there, they look pretty good.
Right.
He was almost like removed from the rotation worthy at one point.
Right, yeah. He did have quite the peaks and valleys this year. Speaking of peaks and valleys, Cano's really only had valleys. His ERA is 5.09 after this outing. Just an awful season.
Which is terrible, too, because they got to rebuild the whole bullpen, and the one guy who you could argue going into the season should be a part of the bullpen for years to come is hot garbage and
Right.
doesn't deserve a spot anymore. Like he has Norfolk written all over him.
Right.
I looked up Roansy Contreras with the Rockies after this Cano week, and he wasn't doing so good.
Yeah. I'll blame it on Coors Field, even if he didn't pitch there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Rockies pitching lab probably isn't that great either. Yeah, the Blue Jays were 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position. What's that like, having good runners in scoring position batting? That has been an Orioles problem all season. Every game you see like 1 for 7, 1 for 9.
And they were actually 3 for 11 in this game.
Yeah.
That's good for Orioles.
And then we got Sunday, bullpen game for the Birds. And it's never good when you have to have a bullpen game against the other team's best pitcher, which was Shane Bieber.
Oh, I forgot they got Bieber, too, before this start. He hadn't pitched most of the year, right? And they acquired him at the deadline?
Yeah, I don't think he pitched at all when they acquired him. So they really put it on the line getting him, because that could have went south, and he's come up big for him. He's going to be their number 1 starter in the playoffs.
Yeah, it certainly could be. Well, Mayo got to Bieber in the top of the second inning with a solo home run with 1 out, and the Orioles did take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I didn't even note anything here. I just put before the game Carson Ragsdale was recalled from Norfolk to become the 68th Orioles player used this season. To make room on the roster, they had to put the birthday boy on the injured list, Sean Dubin. So his season's over.
The Cal Ripken birthday boy.
Yeah. Ragsdale was claimed off waivers on August 3rd by the Giants, and I think we saw why in this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't recall talking about him, and now we know why.
Yeah, eight earned runs over 3 innings, 79 pitches to get 9 outs. This was all his fault.
Yeah, I mean, they left him out there too. He gave up runs in the 5th and the 6th, and he was still pitching in the 7th. So, yeah, you know who didn't give up a run for the 4th time this year?
I do. Mr. Luis Vasquez.
He is better than most of their actual relievers, and I'm going to stick by that.
I saw he was pitching in, like, some of the pitches he threw were in the low 30s.
Hey, it works.
That'd be sad if that's Ragsdale's only ever appearance in the major leagues. That was his major league debut, and he just got destroyed.
Right. Did you know that Vasquez is worth 0.1 WAR pitching this year?
They should trade him while his value's high.
Yeah, his overall value is negative otherwise, offensively and defensively.
Yeah, so needless to say, the Blue Jays complete the sweep. They improved to 50-25 at home. Bieber, but he improved to 4-1?
3-1.
3-1 since being acquired at the trade deadline. There's a good thing this game was played on NFL Sunday, so hopefully most people missed it.
Which game this series did Brian Roberts make that comment about Canadian fans knowing more about hockey? I think a lot of Blue Jays fans got mad about that.
Oh, I missed that whole controversy.
So there was a pickoff attempt by the Orioles over to first, and the fans booed, as they do everywhere. And Kevin Brown made some comment like, oh, pickoffs are actually good for the base running team because it makes it easier to steal. You know, you can only do it twice or whatever. And then Roberts was like, I have to be real careful what I say here. But then he proceeded to say something stupid. He goes, you know, back when I played, we sometimes questioned the baseball IQ of some of these Canadians and thought maybe they knew more about hockey or something like that. So, I mean, it was innocent. It's not like he said something terrible, but I know there were Blue Jays fans who are like, well, I only know about hockey, but I think this game was good for us.
Yeah, they sold out a couple games this series, so they're more excited about baseball than they are hockey right now.
Right.
I saw a report. It might have been from Sports Illustrated, which is basically nothing left of them anymore, but that Brian Roberts might be on the Orioles short list for manager next season.
Really?
Yeah.
He looks like too much of a bro for me to take him seriously. Like he still spikes his hair like it's, 2002 or something.
Yeah, and he's bronzed, basically.
Right. I don't think I would really trust Brian Roberts as a manager. He was a good player in his day, but...
No, he's gotten better as an announcer, too, but as manager, like is that what we're doing now?
At least, I mean, I guess in one regard, though, you could say he is a baseball guy, and I think he's too dumb to understand some of those analytics, so maybe he would push back on the front office a little bit.
That is a great point. Yeah, September 2nd, sporting news. Orioles predicted to replace Brandon Hyde for fan favorite, and then, that's how they get you to click, and... the idea was Brian Roberts. I don't know if that's...
I like how it says predicted to. It's like nobody else is saying that.
The article is written by Hunter Cookston, so he might be a bot.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah, he might be AI.
Just trying to sow division within this country.
Okay, here we go. A bit of a wild card on this list is Baltimore fan favorite Brian Roberts. The former All-Star second baseman has no coaching experience, but has served as a part-time color analyst since his retirement in 2014. His father, Mike Roberts, was the head coach of the University of North Carolina Tar Heels for 20 seasons, so he has a tie to the coaching world. While it would be an unconventional selection, Roberts' combination of major league experience and familiarity with Baltimore could give him the ability to connect with players while also exciting the fan base. Fox Baltimore's Cale Ahern wrote.
I did not realize that his dad coached UNC for a long time. But at the same time, why does that make the kid qualified?
Right. Like Rod Stewart's son can't sing.
Brian Roberts went to, I thought I remember him going to South Carolina. He also played at UNC, and I'm going to look up the order of that. It would be funny if he started at UNC and then left.
Left his dad.
Yeah, he did. He enrolled at UNC, where his dad was the coach. It says no other D1 team offered him a scholarship. He hit .427 as a freshman with 24 doubles and 47 steals. A decent season.
Yeah, he's like an overachiever.
Right. Now, how did he end? Did good again junior year? Oh, UNC fired Roberts' father after the 98 season. After the firing, Roberts transferred to South Carolina.
Okay,
that's fair.
So he wasn't loyal like Cal was when his dad got fired.
I mean, I wouldn't be either. Let's be honest. He's not getting paid, at least back then.
Yeah, he didn't have a streak to keep going.
Right.
Yeah, Albert Suarez pitched in this game. He'd finished the season with just 11 2/3 innings pitched, which is down 133 from last year. Yeah, not a good year for him. Ragsdale was DFA'd the next day. The Orioles claimed someone named Jose Castillo off of waivers today from the Mariners. I'm sure he'll be good.
Jose Ragsdale.
Jose
Ragsdale? No. I don't know. Tried to make something
works.
funny in it, and I didn't think it worked.
Yeah, I thought there was a combo there between the CAs, but yeah, this will be Castillo's fourth team this season. The Mariners, Mets, and D-backs were the other three.
Surely he's good, bouncing around that much.
You got a player of the week? Is it Jose Castillo?
No, it's Luis Vasquez. Still the best reliever on the Orioles.
Yeah, I kind of went the same way. I gave mine to Tyler O'Neill for playing in a game.
Hey, he's going to make like $16.5 million next year. Roughly $10 million more than Laureano would have had.
If Brian Roberts is onto something about Canadians being stupid, maybe Tyler O'Neill will opt out of his contract.
Ooh, good point. Maybe he's trying to force O'Neill out by ripping on his heritage.
Yeah, if Brian Roberts is the manager, maybe he's playing the long game. Like, he just plays his I hate Canadians card and makes Tyler O'Neill not feel welcome in his own clubhouse.
There you go.
Worse things have happened.
That would be great if I don't expect him to leave, but we can all hope.
So we got a quiz here. The quizzes are getting really hard to find. Can you correctly identify the calendar decade for each given event in baseball history? This is 22 questions, 5 minutes.
Ooh, the decade.
All right, we are on the clock. The Hall of Fame opens. Is that the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, or the 10s?
I want to say it's the 40s.
I was thinking 30s.
Could be 30s.
I'm going to say 30s. Yep, that's correct. MLB introduces regular season interleague play.
90s.
That's the 90s, yeah. Original Yankee Stadium opens. This I do not know. The 20s?
Yeah, that's hard. They called it the house that Ruth built. So maybe the 20s?
Yep, that's correct. Cubs break a 108-year drought with a World Series title.
2010s.
Dodgers broadcaster Vin Scully calls the final game of his career.
Also 2010s?
Yeah, that was recent. That's correct. One-armed outfielder Pete Gray appears in 77 games for the St. Louis Browns. So you know that was 50s or before.
early. Yeah. One arm. Who knows? Maybe in the 40s, like during World War II.
Yep, that's correct. The Cardinals beat the Browns in the only all St. Louis World Series. Again, pre-50s.
I would say also 40s.
Yeah, that's correct. Red Sox break the curse of the Bambino with the championship. That's the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Leon Cador and Joe Oshinger pitched complete games against each other in a 26-inning game.
Never heard of either of those, but I would guess like the 1910s, whatever the earliest one is.
The 20s. Yep, that's correct. Bobby Thompson's shot heard round the world wins the pennant. That's the 50s.
That was 50s.
Roberto Clemente gets his 3,000th hit in the final game of his career before losing his life in a plane crash.
70s.
Ted Williams homers in the very last at-bat of his career. Is that the 40s?
No. He definitely played in the 50s. I don't know if it was 50s or 60s when he was done. I would say early 60s if I had to guess.
Okay. Yeah, wow, that's correct. Don Larson throws a perfect game in the World Series. I just listened to that today.
That's either 50s or 60s.
Yeah, it's 56, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. Players compete in the first All-Star Game Home Run Derby.
Oh,
I'll say 80s.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 70s or 80s, I would guess.
Yep, that's correct. Miracle Mets defeat the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series.
60s.
Frank Robinson becomes MLB's first black manager. That's 70s.
With Cleveland?
Yeah. Yep. Johnny Vandermeer pitches 2 consecutive no-hitters.
Ooh, 40s or 50s, I would say.
Yeah, I was thinking 50s or 60s. I want to meet in the middle.
Let's
in the
meet
50s.
And say 50s.
Yeah. First one we missed. Doesn't say the answer. Jackie Robinson breaks MLB's color barrier. That's 40s. The 40s. The American League starts using the designated hitter.
Ooh.
70s, I think.
Okay.
Yep. Joe Carter's walk-off home run wins the World Series.
90s.
Former Oriole, Canadian Hall of Famer.
Yep.
The Phillies become the last pre-expansion team to win a championship.
70s.
No, that's incorrect. Japan defeats Cuba to win the inaugural World Baseball Classic. That was 2000s.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I think it was like 06. Yep. Yeah, 20-22, 91%, 46 seconds to spare.
When did the Phillies win their first World Series?
It's the 80s. So what they won 80.
Oh, really? They didn't win till 1980? Damn. I was thinking like 79. I guess I had the year wrong.
And the other one was Johnny Vandermeer was in the 30s.
Was he really?
I'd love to see that again. That'd be pretty cool.
2 no-hitters in a row.
If anyone can do it, it's Trevor Rogers.
Yeah, he'd be my first choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you watch anything good? Read anything? Listen to anything?
No, I really didn't this week. Just football and stuff. How about
you?
I
watched the Commanders Packers on Thursday night. That was abysmal. Now Jane Daniels is hurt, so their season's over. That was a pretty
bad game overall.
Those Thursday night games suck. They're really
never good.
Then I went to the Supernova Ska Festival all weekend. I'm extremely tired now. Too old for that.
Who did you see that you liked?
Oh, Less Than Jake, Voodoo Glow Skulls. There's so many bands. The Calamatics were good. They're kind of a new band. I just put the poster downstairs, so I'm blanking. Let me pull it up. Yeah, Less Than Jake was great. Oh, Mustard Plug was good. They had a couple bands have to cancel because visa issues. There's apparently something going on in the world with like immigration and stuff. So a
Who would
couple
have
of the bands,
guessed?
yeah, a couple of the bands couldn't get their passports stamped. There
I
was two
love when we're
bands. That,
being deprived of culture and entertainment for no reason.
yeah, because I was trying to explain to my friends because I listened to those books where I found out like those concerts are like the contract wording is pretty much set in stone, so they couldn't move around any of the other sets. They just had to have like a DJ play for an hour while they
Hmm.
waited for the next band to have their time come up.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll probably go again next year.
I
Let me
remember
see
the
what's on
names
this
of
thing.
those older bands. Just again, like kids when I was younger, having T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, Voodoo Glow Skulls are amazing. Yeah, the Pie Tasters, they played late last night. The Toasters were really good yesterday. They've been around a long time. Oh, Catch 22 was great. Um, Hub City Stompers, they always put on a good show. They're 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 kind of basic, but they put on a good show. Like I wouldn't recommend listening to their album or anything. Yeah. Stop the Presses, they were good. I've seen them before. I never heard of Betawan Sound Clash. Have you ever heard of them?
Nope.
Yeah, they headlined Sunday night. They're
Hmm.
not like a typical ska band.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the Flatliners were awesome.
Yeah, I don't know much about ska at all. Ooh, Bedouin Sound Clash is from Toronto. Speaking of, maybe they're Blue Jays fans.
Yeah, yes, they don't know much about baseball. And then I made the mistake of watching the Canelo Alvarez fight Saturday night. I'm good if I never see boxing again. Boxing can die.
I saw that fight was on, and I just was watching the Notre Dame Texas A&M football game.
It didn't start till like 1 in the morning too, which is ridiculous.
I've never been a boxing fan.
No, yeah, my wife. I guess people were talking about it at her job all night. So then when she got home, she's like, "Do we have the fight?" And I was like, "Let's put it on. I'll turn on Netflix. You know,
Yeah,
eight
then there's like
dollars."
6 boxing matches before that you don't care about or know anybody, and
I got sucked in. I put a $4 parlay on too and lost $4.
I went through a phase when I was younger, like 8th, ninth grade. I read a bunch of books about Muhammad Ali. Like, I don't mind reading about boxing. I'd much rather read about it than actually watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch some old Tyson fights. Like he's supposed to fight Floyd Mayweather, and I'm not falling for it again. I fell for that
Right.
stupid Paul fight.
That
Like I'll
Jake
just
Paul
watch
thing
an
was
old
so
Tyson
dumb.
fight. Yeah, that was embarrassing for like the country and the world. And
I
Mike
mean, you would
Tyson.
think if, assuming it's not staged, which I think it will be, but like Tyson should be able to just knock that dude's head off, but he won't.
Nah, he wasn't even trying. Brew noticed. Do you see how the Brewers did this week? They might be the only team to win 100 games this year. I heard.
Really? Let's check it out. I actually have not checked on the Brewers in a couple weeks.
Yeah, the only thing I saw was a headline on the ESPN app that read Brewers culture praised after clinching playoff spot. And I was like, what's it like having good culture?
Right. You won't say that about the Orioles. They actually got swept at Texas, and then they took 2 of 3 from St. Louis. So not a great week for them, but
Yeah, they salvaged a bad start.
yeah, they're playing the Angels and Cardinals this week, so you'd imagine they'll do all right there. They've clinched the playoffs. Only 2 teams have clinched the playoffs so far, Milwaukee and Philly.
That'd be a good World Series matchup.
Well, NLCS maybe.
Oh, I still have Milwaukee as an American League team in my head because of when I grew up, and I still put Houston in the National League.
Uh-huh.
It never fails. I can't believe I did it again.
That is confusing.
I wish they would have just moved Milwaukee back into the American League when they had to move Houston over to make the divisions match once they went all DH, or all interleague or whatever. That I would have paid money for that.
I guess that ship has sailed, huh?
Yeah, I'll have to work my way up to commissioner. I'll get a job at McKinsey. Work.
Right. There you go.
Get a job in office and be like, have you guys ever thought about switching Houston and Milwaukee? Because there's some Gen X people who are confused constantly.
Then you'll confuse everybody else.
I'll be real confused once they scrap the league system and just go to East Coast, West Coast.
Right. Yeah, I think if it made money for the league, they would do it. That's all they care about.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's not like Best Buy presents the American League.
You
know what I mean?
Eventually.
Like, yeah.
Like that random company that did the helmet in the playoff last year that
Strauss.
that like nobody's heard of. They make like work uniforms. It's not something that like everyday people are gonna go out and buy.
I imagine they'll be on the playoff helmets again this year. They're not going to introduce it last year and then make money.
There'll be somebody on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not Strauss, but they will never reduce ads. That's for darn sure.
It's just a matter of time before they get in the regular season.
Right. Oh, well. I honestly don't notice ads much anymore. The helmets are weird, but like the jerseys, I don't pay attention to them.
I don't like them. To me, it's just like, how much advertising do we really need? Apparently, the answer is limitless because they're willing to put it everywhere.
At some point, you have to think about the companies who are spending money on that stuff. Like, how much value do you get out of advertising? Like, I don't know. Clearly, they have a formula or something, like Mike Elias and his little nerd brain. But you would think at some point, like having an ad on the whatever, like the one on the back of the pitcher's mound. It's like, really? How much do you get from that?
Right. At some point, you're just on a screen with like 10 other advertisers. So you're kind of buried if your logo doesn't stand out or is even like the wrong color compared to all the other colors.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever. Not my jam.
No. You got anything else? That's it for us.
Nope. All good.
Nope. All right. Yeah.
Well, all's not good with the Orioles, but you know.
I know we got the White Sox tonight, and then the Yankees.
White Sox, Yankees. So more losses coming up. 4 games against the Yanks, then 3 against the Rays, and more. So they play, 7 of their next 13 against the Yankees to finish the season.
Yeah, baseball was clearly trying to make something happen there, where they thought the division might be on the line or something.
Make it matter in the end. Joke's on you, the O's suck.
Yeah, you should have known. Yep, thanks for listening, everybody.
All right. Thanks for listening. Go Brewers.